The sheep are running away!
Fenders and fireboxes! Come back here! Stop!
But the sheep weren't listening to James. They didn't want to go back in the trailer. Katy barked. James was stern.
No, Katy. You must stay clean in the cab. I will find the sheep.
And James steamed slowly forwards until he saw the sheep munching grass at the end of a field.
The fastest track to the end of the field is wet and muddy. I shall take the long track there and stay clean for the photographer.
James was pleased with his plan, so he chuffed carefully away on the very long track. He puffed up just as the last sheep was moving away.
Bother!
Katy barked. James snorted.
No, Katy, you must stay clean. I have another good idea. We will take the long, dry track to find the sheep.
James huffed to a halt by a field. The sheep were chewing the grass. Katy was happy to see her sheep. She barked and barked. James smiled.
Well done, Katy. My plan is working. When you bark, the sheep will come to you in my cab. All I have to do is wait and be clean.
Soon all the sheep had gathered by James. Katy stopped barking.
Hurrah for me!
James was so pleased with himself, he let out the loudest and longest whistle ever. The sheep jumped in surprise. They ran and they raced away right through the mud in the field.
Fenders and fireboxes! This is a disaster! I promised I would keep the sheep clean, and now they are dirty. I promised to take them to the fair, and now they're running away. I wanted to have my photograph on the front page of the Sodor newspaper, and now no one will want my photograph.
James sighed. Then he heard a rattle on the track. It was Thomas and Percy.
Hello, James. We're off to the fair.
Farmer McColl is waiting for you there. He is very excited to see his sheep in the show.
And Thomas and Percy whooshed away.
Farmer McColl is waiting for me to bring Katy and his sheep. I cannot let him down. It doesn't matter if we're dirty. We have to be there.
Katy barked. She could see the sheep running away to the farm.
Run and round up your sheep, Katy. I will whoosh down the muddy track to meet you by the farm.
So James's driver let Katy go, and James whooshed like the wind down the muddy, wet track. Soon, James was no longer James the bright red engine. He was James the muddy, messy one. But James didn't mind. James pulled up to Farmer McColl's halt. Katy and the sheep were waiting for him. They were covered in mud. But James didn't mind.
All aboard for the fair! Now I will whoosh like the wind down the fast, flat and wet track.
At last, James arrived at the fairground. He was covered in mud from fender to footplate.
James, whatever has happened to you?
Oh, my! How splendid! A hard-working engine with his sheep and sheepdog straight from the fields. That's the photograph I need for the front page.
James beamed from buffer to buffer. So a very muddy James had his photograph taken with Katy the muddy sheepdog, Farmer McColl the fat controller, and lots of muddy sheep. James had never been happier to be the dirtiest engine on Sodor.